Hi, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. Yesterday I made a mistake when I put the title on the chapter. I said it was chapter 2. It was not chapter 2, it was chapter 7 that we read yesterday. Chapter 7 was Secret Threat to the Cub. Well, today we're going to read chapter 8 from City Bear's Adventures. Here we go. That bear is much bigger than this now. It's really growing. Chapter 8, an opportunity and a mystery. So an opportunity would be a chance for something good. And a mystery, well, we'll have to find out. DJ didn't see Alfred until the day school started. DJ got on the bobtailed yellow school bus for the short, tight mountain curves that led to Stony Ridge Grammar School. Grammar school is sometimes also called elementary school. It's for the lower grades, kindergarten, usually through grade 6. DJ greeted the driver, Mrs. Schmidt, and then all the friends he hadn't seen since last June. Almost everyone had heard about DJ's experiences in capturing the outlaw bear and about the cub. DJ tried to answer questions by raising his voice above the noisy bus, but everyone was talking at once. Several other students were waiting at the bus stop when Alfred got on, and where he got on. He hung back, his thick eyeglasses reflecting the morning sun. DJ called out the window and Alfred waved and smiled. He got on at last and everyone started saying things about the new boy and his thick glasses. DJ had held an aisle seat for Alfred. He sat down quickly and slumped down so that he was almost out of sight between the high back seats. My hair looks really wacky today. DJ understood the shy newcomer was trying to make himself invisible. DJ said, "Hey, Alfred, it's okay. They're my friends from school. They always pick on a new kid at first." Alfred whispered, "Do you hear what they're saying? I can't help having to wear these dumb old glasses." "I've got an idea, Alfred." DJ sat straight up and cupped his hands to his mouth and said, "Hey everybody, this is Alfred, and he helped train my bear cub." Instantly, the noisy student remarks turned into excited comments. That relationship with the cub made Alfred special, and he quickly acted on it. He raised his head slightly. His eyes darted around the bus. Alfred sat up straight. "I know all about bears," he announced timidly. It was a challenge that brought only silence for a moment. Then someone yelled from the back of the seat, "Prove it!" "Okay," Alfred said, "I will." He sat up very tall in his seat and raised his voice. "The California black bear, which Coco is an omnivorous in feeding habits." What?" 7th grader named Dale Masters interrupted. "Means he'll eat almost anything," Alfred explained. "That includes berries, insects, vegetation, frogs, fruit, nuts, and carrion." Dale yelled, "What's that?" Mary Antoli, a 6th grader, made a face and called, "Ugh, dead things." The busload of students wanted to know more about bears and especially the cub, but DJ was anxious to talk about what Boop Malone had said. He lowered his voice so only Alfred could hear. I've got to talk to you. About what? DJ leaned closer to whisper right in Alfred's right ear. About somebody who wants to get a hold of Coco real bad. You mean Nels Abbas? Don't think so. DJ ignored the student still wanting to know about bears. DJ explained about the trip to Boot Malone's and what Dad had said. When DJ had finished, Alfred pushed his heavy glasses further up his nose. Good. We've got a mystery on our hands, don't we? All I know is that I'm scared of what might happen to Coco when I'm at school. If somebody did steal him, we could use your dog to find him. DJ sat up and grinned. We could, couldn't we? Alfred frowned thoughtfully. Well, maybe we could and maybe we couldn't. Let's make sure by training Hero to trail and find Coco. Something like hide and seek, only with animals instead of kids. I'll help, of course. That's a good idea. Alfred? Oh, the next stop is where Nels Abbas gets on. The little bus growled around the curve and pulled off to the next small bus shelter big enough for half a dozen students. Half a dozen is 6. But this year there was only one student, Nels. He looked much older than everyone else. DJ guessed that was because Nels had failed a couple grades. Nels got up slowly from the bench inside the shelter and unhurriedly walked toward the bus, kicking at pebbles and dirt clots. The lady bus driver, Mrs. Schmidt, held the door open and called, "Hurry up!" Nels didn't reply, but he didn't hurry either. He raised his eyes, lowered at the window. He gave an angry look. His lips seemed to curl into a sneer. And then his eyes brightened when he caught DJ's blue eyes. Nels immediately jumped off the bus so fast Mrs. Schmidt warned him not to do that again. Nels pushed his way back to where Alfred was sitting in the aisle seat by DJ. Well, now look who's here. 2 of my most favorite enemies. Alfred the Owl and DJ the Cub Boy. DJ said, "Don't call names." Who's going to stop me? The driver looked into the big rearview mirror and told Nels to sit down. He muttered something under his breath and started toward the back of the bus. Alfred sighed. It's going to be a long school year, DJ. DJ didn't say anything, but he thought that might be the truth. And it wasn't going to be easy to tell Nels that he was now a Christian. DJ looked out the window. The sun was shining and the hills were beautiful. But suddenly DJ felt winter closing in on his heart. The bus pulled up a small hill that led directly into the higher mountains. The bus door swung open. Yelling students piled in out of the onto the concrete sidewalk in front of the school. The small white frame school, that is. DJ motioned for Alfred to stay seated until everyone else was off the bus. Nels was the last one to move up the aisle. He stopped and looked at the 2 boys. I'm going to have my bear, DJ. It's not your bear. Will be soon, or it'll be nobody's bear. Nels grinned with humor and went on in front of the bus and out into the school grounds. DJ and Alfred exchanged glances. Alfred said worriedly, "That sounds like a threat, didn't it?" He's just talking to hear himself, DJ said with forced cheerfulness. Let me show you where everything is. DJ explained that classes for all 8 grades were held here. Oh, so this went up not just to 6th grade, but to 8th grade, their school did. The school had been built at the eastern end of town because land was cheaper and the town was expected to grow that way. The school playground was next to an old cemetery. Now, do you know what a cemetery is? A cemetery is a piece of land where people who have died are buried. And lots of times they will have markers on them or stones that will say the person's name and when they were born and when they died. It might say something like a loving mother. Like on my mom's, I think it says Anna Maria Chirina Weathers, loving mother. So that was her name. On the other side of the schoolyard, to the right, past the bus sheds, there was an open field. Beyond that, evergreen trees followed the series of ridges and hills that finally soared so high, snow would not melt until late May each year. Kathy Stagg came up running, her reddish-colored hair bouncing. Bounce, bounce, bounce. When she was running, her hair would bounce. Behind her, Pris Higgins also trotted up. The older girl's blue eyes were bright with excitement. Guess what? She said, then plunged ahead without waiting for anyone to answer. Jay Calkins, Daddy's friend for the movie company, is back in town and he wants to see you. Me? DJ asked. How come? Kathy shrugged. He didn't say, but Daddy's going to bring him over at noon so you can talk to him, Pris exclaimed. And he's going to speak at the assembly this week. My teacher, Ms. Franzen, already told us so. DJ usually likes school, but today he couldn't keep his mind on things. DJ found himself looking out the windows towards the streets. When the noon bell rang, he hurried outside and stood at the bus stop by the curb. He saw Alfred, Kathy, and Pris coming toward him from different directions. The boy recognized Paul Stagg's old sedan as it turned the corner and pulled up alongside. DJ saw the movie man's smiling face at the passenger side window. Hello, DJ. Good to see you again. Hop on in. Hi, Mr. Calkins. Hello, Paul, the boy replied, leaning over to shake the movie man's extended hand. Can't leave the school grounds. Paul Stagg leaned across the front seat and grinned up at the boy. I should have remembered that. Well, then let's get out and talk on the lawn. Kathy, Pris, and Alfred arrived a little out of breath to find out what was going on. DJ felt a little bothered by the girls. He didn't mind having Alfred around, though. Mr. Calkins stood on the lawn and turned slowly in a complete circle. Just turned all the way around. Beautiful country around here. Beautiful. Make a great backdrop for the series we're going to shoot. Series? Kathy asked. I thought you were just going to make one picture. We were. But our research has shown that a series with mountains and bears could be profitable. They could make money with it. At the mention of bears, DJ's heart jumped. So that's what Boot Maloney must have known about what's going to happen. Mr. Calkins continued, we've learned that people like certain things in their quality family productions. They love summer and outdoor mountain scenes, and they like certain animals, but not others. Alfred nodded, the sun reflecting off his thick glasses. boys and dogs and girls and horses, and everybody, including grown-ups, like bears. Mr. Calkins slapped Alfred on his back so hard the glasses slipped clear off one ear. The boy grabbed for them and pushed them back as the movie man explained, "That's right. Maybe that's because bears can walk upright like a man and do things with their forepaws, such as holding things." Oops, there goes my clock. Anyway, people love bears, so that's why I'm here. DJ, how would you like to sell us your cub? The words came as a hard crack on the back of the neck with a stick. DJ opened his mouth, but no words came. Alfred didn't have any trouble speaking up. "Coco's not for sale." Paul Stagg chuckled, the sound rumbling up from his big chest like a distant mountain rock slide. "Well now, Alfred, you seem pretty certain on what DJ's going to say." Alfred's shyness returned. He lowered his head and didn't say anything more. Pris clapped her hands and jumped about saying, "Oh, goody, Coco's going to be a movie star." Kathy frowned and said, "No wild animal should be kept in captivity." "That bear cub should be," DJ interrupted. "Alfred's right. I won't sell my cub." Mr. Calkins pursed his lips. "I was afraid you might say that. All right, let me ask you a question. Does your bear do tricks?" DJ exclaimed, "I'll say. Why, Coco can do all sorts of tricks, and we can teach him more." Alfred said, "I'll help." Mr. Calkins grinned. "That's great. Of course, this business is unpredictable, and the producer might not be able to use any of those tricks. However, it might be worth more money to the producer for him to know that the cub can do such things. So I suggest you go ahead and do all you can so you're ready when we come here for the shoot next spring. What do you say?" DJ nodded. "Sounds fine to me. But I can't promise you what my father will say, Mr. Calkins." I understand. Just remember, we need a young bear that can be trained and ready in May. You can make enough to put yourself through college if we make the deal." Pris squealed and with delighted clapped her hands. Oh, she's so happy. Sorry, lost my place. But Kathy just shook her head with disapproval. Alfred beamed and patted DJ on the shoulder. "Congratulations." DJ asked, "If we don't make a deal, Mr. Calkins, what then?" "Then I'll have to find another bear. That's why I've got to move so quickly. And it's only fair to tell you I've heard about someone else in this area who has a bear cub for me to check out." DJ frowned. "Another bear cub around here?" "That's what I heard, my boy. Well, I've got to run. See you later." As the two men drove off, DJ looked after them with a deep frown. "Alfred, nobody else around here has a cub, or we'd heard about it, right?" "Exactly," Alfred said firmly. "So that means somebody's been expecting to get our bear and claim it for their own." "But they can't do that," DJ exclaimed. "Logically, no," Alfred said, adjusting his glasses. "But we'd better not turn our backs on Coco for a minute, or he'll be gone. Even if they did kidnap Coco, we'd recognize him. They couldn't get away with that." Kathy's blue eyes crackled with annoyance. "You're both overlooking something. Suppose there is another bear cub around. And if if anything happened to your bear, then that other cub would get the movie part. Pris asked, what could happen to Coco? Alfred turned his owlish eyes upon her. He could get kidnapped or killed, that's what. DJ cried, no, Alfred, don't say that. Alfred looked up at his friend and said quietly, you know it's true, DJ. For a moment the mountain boy did not speak. Then slowly he nodded, feeling his insides get so cold and heavy. Coco was in real danger and would be for the next 8 months. That's a long time. Well, that's the end of chapter 8. And now we know that they do have a good opportunity. But who is it that says they have that other bear? Chapter 9 will be tomorrow. The cub disappears. Oh dear. Wow, that makes me want to look ahead and see what's going to happen. But we'll find out tomorrow together. All right, I hope you are having a good day or night whenever you're watching this. And I want you to remember, I love you. And even more importantly, God loves you very, very much. So I want to say good night for now. And I'll be reading again tomorrow.